With 2 days to go until the biggest event of the year, I'm Matt Bailey, and this, well, it's Ventriloquism Weekly. Welcome back on this Monday, July 14th, 2014. With just 2 days to go until the Vent Haven International Ventriloquist Convention, I am pleased and honored to welcome back Pittsburgh area ventriloquist Chris Donahoe. Donahoe joined us last year at this time to fill us in on what we can expect from the team behind providing you the best social experience possible at Vent Haven. You know that warm, comfortable feeling that permeates the atmosphere at the convention every year? That is thanks in part to the hospitality team, who work tirelessly to make sure ventriloquists across all skill levels and from around the world feel like one big, happy family. And I think that we are. More comfort means more sharing. More sharing leads to more friendships being formed in our already family-like community. Here to share what you can expect from the people at Vent Haven this year, please welcome back Chris Donahoe. Chris Donahoe, welcome back to Ventriloquism Weekly. How are you today, sir?
Excellent, Matt. Always a pleasure, and thanks for having me back
on
Ventriloquist Weekly.
Of course. So, as we did last year, this is the Monday now, July 14th, before the Wednesday, the 16th of the convention. So you're here to tell our listeners what they can expect in just 2 days if they're going to convention, or to fill them in on what they'll be missing and keep them posted should they miss the convention. So what can you, from the hospitality side of things, tell us about what we can expect at Vent Haven?
Well, Bob's already contacted us, and he's got all the troops ready to go. We're waiting for the newcomers, which we call the red dots. Mm-hmm. We're going to take good care of them. That's our specialty right now. We start off the whole convention when you're at the Cincinnati, the Marriott, beautiful, 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 beautiful hotel, and just big old line of people waiting to get into the convention, and it's going to be a great one this year. Comedy writing, like Ken Groves told you last week, the most important thing about being an entertainer is being funny.
Mm-hmm.
Or extremely good voice, one of the two.
Yeah. So the hospitality room, I had good fortune to go to Vent Haven last year for my first time at that Marriott. It's not a room anymore. It's a hallway.
Yes. They pretty much blocked us off to keep us away from the other people. But no, they gave us two beautiful. I hope we get the two rooms again, because that way, if you want to sit, if you want to stand, you go to the one room. If you want to sit, you go into the other room. And I mean, especially the younger kids were really able to enjoy the other room, which we set up the more adult beverages in our room, but lots of soft drinks as well for the younger kids. But it's nice. And then, or the quiet people, they seem to do a lot of brainstorming in the other room, and that's what it's about, chance to get together.
And I think, now maybe this is a little mushy-gushy of me, but I think that more so than any other conventions, a hospitality room at a ventriloquist convention at Vent Haven is one of the most important aspects, because you lecture and you go to class all day, and then you can kind of sort of, for lack of a better term, come home at night, but you're still all together and you're just being sociable. And even though you might be knocking a few back, you're still...
Yeah, and you're rehashing what you learned that day, which is the most important thing, because
you're still learning
it fresh in your mind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're rehashing and you're getting inspired. And I jokingly said knocking a few back, but it loosens people up to just talk and be with each other and be sociable.
And it's nice because it's the pros meet the people who want to be pros, and they're very open. And you know that from being there yourself, being a ventriloquist yourself, that some of the older and even younger folks are able to help people out. I sat in the hallway last year helping people write comedy just to do a sketch, and it's just like it's not intimidating at all. It's a hospitality committee and a hospitality room, and that's what we're about, especially for which we call the red dots. Those are the new attendees, and like we say, we take good care of them. Now, I was one, you were one, and the hospitality company let me in, and they let me become one of them. So I'm very appreciative to Mark Wade and Bob Hamill and Philip Jones for letting me join their club.
So, what is your specific role, your specific title, or just your responsibility on the hospitality committee? What do you make sure happens?
Well, we make sure that people wear their tags all the time. You know, the old joke, you got to show you stinking badges.
Yeah.
Well, you got to show us the stinking badges so you can get into the lectures and the shows. That way we know that you're paid into the convention. And we tell you where to go, what to do, what time. We have a schedule with us at all times. And our badge will say Hospitality Committee. And we like to put different colors on it to kind of spot us from a distance. And we're always standing by a door, make sure the doors are closed for the entertainers who are performing, and basically make people comfortable. And then at night, relax. You know, sometimes during the day we have the room open. They drop in, have a little chit chat with anybody really who comes in.
Oh, that's what I love about it because every year, and this is to people who haven't been to Vent Haven yet or to people who are thinking about going, go because there's no 2 years the same. Every year there's a new just galaxy of stars and they drop by. They really do and you get to talk to them. I walk in and it's funny. You walk in, you round the corner. You don't really see a lot of people when you walk in. You see the bar, you round the corner and then you could be taken by surprise by how many people or the just variety of people that have come to socialize.
Right, exactly. Or even test out some of their material,
Yeah.
which is really good. And there are a lot of nervous people in there, the ones that are going in on the open mics and the performances. They want to get in there, and it's like, oh, how do you think this is going to go? And they're very receptive. Everything as far as being an entertainer, we're there to boost you up. We're not there to tear you down. It's all about let's do this better.
Yeah, last year I just came in to grab a Sprite. I ended up having I think you were standing there, or maybe it was your brother, but
yeah, my brother, he's a resident bartender. I help him out when I can, but he tends to do a pretty good job by himself.
is your brother a ventriloquist, or do you just drag him along?
He is not. We opened up a children's entertainment center together.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, he actually wanted to, so because I'd always come back from the convention talking about, Jeff Dunham and all these, Jimmy Nelson and Dan Horn, and he was like, I got to go there. So he ended up joining me as a partner in a business. So now he's a regular. He's one of the guys.
That's great.
Very, very good. He gets people seats that I can't even find chairs that he finds during the big events. You know how packed it gets.
Oh yeah, and the mad rush for the doors and the lines that form. Oh yeah, and yeah, so that's a testament to what the convention does and how accepting and fun-loving the people and the environment at Vent Haven is. No matter if we're at the Drawbridge or now the Marriott, the Drawbridge doesn't exist anymore.
Right, right, and like I said, well, all these people, the hospitality committee, there's a good 12, 14 of us, and every year we'll get someone new, and it's fun. It's good to be with the people, and Bob Hamill starts like he's already working on scheduling who's going to watch this door, what door, take care of everybody, and just set it all up. It's like a sub business, so to speak.
Yeah, and it's just as important because I think of the hospitality room as a class unto itself. Again,
Right.
because everybody shares, and it's just as important to have a space to go for us to just talk to each other about the day's events, what we're excited about for tomorrow, and what we want to accomplish in this art form.
Exactly. Plus, like I said, there's schedules everywhere. We have Willie Tyler and Lester coming this year, which will be a first time I get to meet him, and I hope he stops down too, which they do. We've had everyone. Jay Johnson, he's there a lot, and Jeff Dunham stopped in. He'll stop in. He's a busy man, but he does stop in every once in a while. And then we always have our White Castle hamburgers. You know those, the sliders.
Oh yes, gotta have that tradition.
It is amazing how people know when they're there.
How did that?
Don't know.
Gotta
I
ask
don't know
you.
how they figure it out.
Gotta ask you. How did that tradition start? How did that White Castle thing get started?
Well, one of our committee members, Lisa, she just out of the kindness of her good old heart started it, and it just stuck. I mean, every year she'll sneak out and take a couple of helpers with her, and they just come in with boxes of these things, and they're gone within seconds.
Really?
We get our traditional picture, and then tomorrow you pay for it.
uh, White Castle.
I think it's one of Pete Michaels' favorite things because he starts snooping around the first day. When's the ice? When are they coming? When are they coming? They'll be here, Pete.
Well, that's the thing is they're gone within seconds. And it's like I want to take part in the White Castle tradition. What? You just ate them before I could get the sentence out. They're gone.
Get in that group picture, that's for sure. Yeah, it's amazing. And then people will come down, they're like, we'll try to hide some, but they find those as well. I mean, and there's always snacks there too. Some people, I know it's really tough to scoop up the money to go to a convention because it costs money to stay in the hotels, which is sold out this year, the
Yeah.
Marriott. It's amazing how big we're getting. And people will come in and they'll literally eat at the hospitality committee. They'll fill up on pretzels, just saying they'd save a couple of dollars. We have a tip jar,
Yeah.
and that helps us replenish everything for the drinks, and whatever you can.
Hmm.
The little tip there, and it's not for us. It's literally to replenish everything. So,
That's
and
great.
then Mark and I, or Bob, or Phil will go out and get what we need for the next night. Reboot, so to speak.
So now, is there anything new in the works for the hospitality side of things, or just the convention in general that you might be willing to spill? 2 days here, this airs before the Vent Haven convention.
Right now, I think a lot of people are. I mean, I'm trying to get the buzz through the social media of what people are talking about, and it's almost, it's very exciting. Like with Tim Groves talking about how important the comedy writing is, and that's
Hmm.
where I started. That's my passion is comedy writing, and I remember going to a lecture with Jeff Dunham, and he turned us on to a man named Gene Carre, which I went out and bought. And once you start a hobby like ventriloquism, then it spills out in figure making and comedy writing. You can get all kind of information through that. So that's going to be very good. As far as no secrets this year, I think we're getting down to business this year.
Oh yeah.
I know with Willie and Lester coming, that's the big news right there.
Hmm.
And Jess changed his date, which is different. I mean, he's usually the last, right after the Vent Haven, people go over to the museum. We come back and we enjoy a lecture from Jeff. He's actually pushed it up a day. So I don't know if that's for scheduling purposes for him or just, maybe it's something Mark Wade thought of. I don't know, but we'll find out for sure.
Absolutely. So let's talk about you for a second. Switch gears. We know you are a Pittsburgh area
Oh, yes.
ventriloquist.
Yep.
How has what kind of growth in the last year since we talked have you seen with your own personal ventures in
Well,
ventriloquism?
I noticed the children's birthday parties seem to be cutting way back. I think we're
Hmm.
competing with those bouncy houses.
Yes.
So, but I know that was a major part of But I've picked up in other areas, and so it's evened out. And I know that I'd like to talk to some people this year about what you're charging, and it seems like people don't want to pay as much, but they'll go out there and pay it for something else. And live entertainment is more memorable than jumping up and down in a big old hot air balloon. So I'd like to talk to some people about that. But things are going great for me. I did the big push on comedy clubs and stuff last year, but it seems you fall into your niche, and mine seems to be like family entertainment. So I'm
Yes.
going to concentrate on that for a while and hope things work out, for us.
Absolutely. So, what are you looking forward to going off of all that? What's the aspect you're most looking forward to this year at Vent Haven?
Any new little techniques on comedy? I know I used to take the computer courses, any like comedy writing courses. I bought
Hmm.
every book from from Gene Paret's book. I mean, and just maybe something like, because I know the whole thing of the schedule. Everybody has something to do with some type of comedy, and I'm really going to hit everyone because you never know where you're going to get that golden nugget. Something that clicks with you. So I think it's very important to get some sleep at night. Come to the hospitality committee or in room, but get some sleep and get up early. Don't miss anything. Try
Y-
to
You're
try to hit anything.
you you're part of the hospitality room. How do you get to sleep at night when the people don't leave till 4 in the morning?
I do not.
Oh,
Literally, sometimes we get to bed at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. But if you're scheduled to watch a door, Bob tries to take care of my brother and I, because we're usually the last two standing. We got
yeah.
to shut the lights off and clean up a little bit. But you don't get much sleep, and that's what it's about. You have to come home and then you need a vacation from the convention because
Yeah. Well, that's
oh
if there's ever a place where you're just like lack of sleep, sacrifice sleep, and I'm a big proponent of I don't understand how these people can go outside of the convention can just operate with like 3 hours of sleep. But if there's ever a time that you want to sacrifice sleep and just enjoy yourself, it's Vent Haven and the hospitality room certainly because the advice is absolutely invaluable.
Right, because then you build great friendships. I have a great friend, Greg, that I met him at the hospitality committee, and all year long we just talk and laugh and tell jokes. And then you're not talking. Sometimes you're not talking about ventriloquism. You're talking about what your other likes are, and you have to be well rounded.
Yeah.
But it's very important to learn your craft, but to build a good friendship like that, it's amazing. It's like one thing leads to another. It's always nice. So you do build some friendships. I became great friends with you that way.
Yes.
You with
Yes.
you and your family stopping by,
Absolutely.
and to this day, I call you my friend. So and that all
Absolutely.
started in the hospitality committee, or in that room. I'm sorry, I keep calling it a committee because it is. So,
Well,
but the room is what it's about.
yes, the room is what it's about, and the convention in general. I like to have people on from the Vent Haven, the people involved in Vent Haven in different areas, just to really try to get across how special this convention is. I've never been to a convention that is as fulfilling and well rounded as Vent Haven.
Right. That's kudos to Mark Wade because he took it from what I understand before I started going, a group of guys and some very, very, very talented men and women, and he just built it and opened it up to everyone. I mean, I have people nowadays, and it's starting to catch on. I'll do a show, and older people, younger people come up to me, and they ask me, this is just in my local show. How where do you get into this? I was at a fair a couple of weeks ago, and an older gentleman was as an entertainer his whole life. He wants to do ventriloquism, so I said, hey, the convention, the Vent Haven convention, and nuts and bolts. That is our college right now. I mean, you can
Yes.
learn it everywhere. With a lot of the guys have their own courses and such. Even Vent Haven, the maker has that wonderful new course,
Yes.
which is very exciting.
Run by
But
Mark Wade and Ken
you got
Groves.
to see the faces. You got to come to the convention to put the face on the voice, and that's what's fun.
Yes. Yes, the Van Haven convention is just so special. It's when I started coming, I didn't know anybody. That changed within 6 hours.
Yes,
Like it's just crazy. There's no need to be intimidated to come to this convention because it's such a chill, such a
I
relaxed environment.
like to be in the lobby at the Marriott that first day and like to watch the people who aren't ventriloquists. They're there on business, and they're just looking around like, oh my goodness, what did I just luck into? And then they're laughing and they're listening because you know how friendly everyone is. We just turn the light on and let them have a good time with everybody. I remember being in the hospitality committee once, and been close to the Cincinnati airport. A pilot and some stewardesses were walking down. And they poked their head in, and we're like, "Oh, come on in." Then Candace Bergen pokes her head in the door, and I was like, "How many times has that happened?" Yeah,
Candace Bergen?
Candace Bergen, when she was there when they celebrated her father. I think that we had an anniversary. It was Edgar Bergen's.
What year was that? I There were a couple years I didn't get to go. What year was that? That's the
That
story.
was that had to be it might have been like right just before it because it wasn't too long. But you know how the years they kind of blend into each other.
Yeah.
But literally, I'm sitting there giving somebody a drink. I turn around and she's in the doorway, and I'm like, "Wow, that's pretty crazy, huh?"
That
Murphy Brown, right
that's
over my shoulder.
awesome.
But
Awesome.
just to look at the pilot, he said, I mean, normally you have to have a tag to get in it, around there. But this was a couple of years ago, and they're sitting there just like they're trying to say, well, what's going on in here? I said, well, we're a bunch of ventriloquists learning our trade. It looks like you're learning your trade, pal. That's how you learn sometimes.
Yes, yes. And it's just the scope of fun is just immeasurable. And so my last question for you is excuse me, if you could say one thing to our listeners that they may not know about Van Haven that may change their mind about whether they want to come or not, what would it be?
Don't be shy. It will open up a new world. Speak up. Come to a hospitality member and ask them a question. First year, I was extremely shy. I ended up going home like a little bit early, but then Bob and Phil took me under their wing, and then it's been a whole different life experience for me. But don't be shy. That's what I would say.
Don't be.
You're in the entertainment business. It's time to speak up.
Absolutely, and it's always wonderful speaking with you, Chris Donahoe, Van Haven.
I will be seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely, I can't wait to see you. It'll be a lot of fun.
All right, Matt. Thanks for calling, and I hope we can get some information for the people out there.
All right, always fun talking
Come to the convention. Walk in. You could buy a ticket at the door.
Yes.
Fly in on a spur of the moment. It'll change your life.
It will. My thanks again to Chris, a good friend of my own through this convention. And speaking of Vent Haven, remember that our live episode with Jim Barber and Todd Oliver will happen on the main stage at 5 p.m. Wednesday, July 16th. If you're going to be there live, come with your questions. I want to take questions from the crowd, and of course, I'll have my own questions and a few surprises. We will have a blast, I promise you. For those of you unable to make it, send in your questions. I still want your questions to ventriloquismweekly@gmail.com. And look for the live taping of this event as our episode next week, July 21st. Also, if you're unable to make Vent Haven this year, check out Tom Crowell and the Homevention at learn-ventriloquism.com. That's LEARN-ventriloquism.com. And that's it for us this week. I can't wait to finally see many of you in just a few days. We're going to have a ton of fun in the next week. Ventriloquists unite! Literally, at Vent Haven. Yes, ventriloquists unite. I'm so excited. A reminder, you can find all you need to know about Ventriloquism Weekly by visiting our mothership, our website, official website, ventriloquismweekly.com. Reach out by emailing ventriloquismweekly@gmail.com and find our group on Facebook by searching Ventriloquism Weekly -podcast for ventriloquists. Lots of hyphens in the last couple of minutes. And tweet us at Talk4Two. And one last thing, if you're going to tweet about us, especially if you come see us do our live episode, you want to use hyphen Talk4Two and spell it out, TALKFORTWO. Signing off for Ventriloquism Weekly, I'm Matt Bailey, reminding all you vents out there to keep talking for two.